Podcast is proudly powered by Battleborn Batteries. Let the power of lithium take you on your journeys across the outdoor world. Battleborn Batteries designs and assembles the industry's top choice for lithium-ion batteries right here in the USA. Reliable, safe, and long-lasting, Battleborn makes for the sustainable and lightweight drop-in replacement for traditional lead-acid batteries. Ready to make the switch to lithium and the switch to green energy? All batteries are in stock now. Shop today at battlebornbatteries.com.
What is up, everybody? Good evening to you all, and welcome to Lines In Live. I'm your host, Justin Patrick, and with us, as always, is Mr. David Best.
Good evening, y'all.
Guys, we're powered by Battleborn Batteries, presented by Primary Tackle. Thank you all for tuning in for tonight. We're going to have some fun. We got our buddy Brandon Palmer from Cincinnati, Ohio, coming on to talk some smallmouth fishing with us. He fished in the KBF event up there on St. Clair this past weekend. So we're gonna get dialed in with him on just what's going on up there. If you guys have not noticed, the smallmouth craze is going on right now. The elites are showing out on St. Lawrence. Guys are hitting the St. Clair. Just that northern swing is happening. It's that time of the year, and it makes all of us our southern guys jealous. Ain't that right, David?
It does. I like to go catch some of them myself.
Man, dude, so 200 pounds. I can't remember his exact weight, but the guy who won the Elite Series on St. Lawrence, entered into the Century Club, the first Century Smallmouth Club. With over, I'm sorry, not 200 pounds, 100 pounds.
Yeah.
And that's just unreal, man. I'm not jealous of the northern guys because they get iced over and all that kind of stuff. They got all that to contend with, but I do get a little jealous when we're down here, sucking in the blazing heat,
Yeah.
and they're up there in cooler weather. I mean, these guys, it's funny seeing them because they're in their hoodies and stuff like that out there on the lake. And we're down here,
You're dying in a hoodie right now down here.
Pounding bottles of water just to stay alive down here. But anyways, even though in the heat, guys, there's still a lot of good fishing to be had. We had our West Tennessee Bass Yackers tournament on Bay Springs Lake this past weekend. That was fun.
Sure it was.
Man, just being on the water is fun for me, win or lose. But it always helps to win, So
it does.
But what winning means is not so much that you walk away the champion. It's that you caught good fish, man. You caught good fish. You had a good time.
Yeah.
So that's what it's all about for me. But had a pretty good little show. Pretty good little turnout.
20.
Yeah, it was about 20 anglers, given how hot it was. And for most people, that's a pretty decent little drive. I mean, it's 2 hours and 20 minutes from my house. So it's not an easy commute to make, especially for people that like to stay close by. But that's club fishing, and we, they fish plenty of tournaments throughout the year. But it's dwindling down to the last couple of events to make state, shoot for Angler of the Year. Actually, our buddy Ashley Alt is leading AOY in points right now, and close behind him is Jason Carr, and then I think Mark Davis. So,
Yeah.
which is weird. I heard some guys talk about it. Mark has won 3 tournaments this year with WTBY, and he's in 3rd in Angler of the Year.
How's that work?
I don't know.
Did you fish a couple or?
Don't quote me. I think he had one maybe where he didn't catch a fish, so he got 50
Right.
points. But see, we still got 2 more tournaments, so 2 of those are going to drop off.
Yeah.
And so
That's true.
yeah, so we got Piney Lake out there in Lexington, Tennessee coming up, and then the Beach River watershed, pick your own lake type deal. So.
Right.
Anyways, anybody tune in tonight? Any locals, in the Memphis area, the West Tennessee area, that want to get involved in kayak fishing, maybe come across this podcast, come and fish with us. You can find us on Facebook at West Tennessee Bass Yackers, and then a lot of these guys that fish WTBY, they've been doing it for years. They fish Tennessee Bass Nations and stuff. A lot of experience, just a great group of people. So just it's a great opportunity to get in there and meet some people, learn a little bit about the sport. And mentioning getting into the sport, David, we were talking, man, you guys got a great stock, great inventory up there at the store right now. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, we got a great inventory of Hobies right now. We got a great inventory of new canoes. Just got a new shipment of new canoe in last week. Got 2 of the newer Jackson NARs in yesterday. Had an opportunity to kind of build one part of the way out today. I didn't get it finished. Started on it this afternoon, and I kept freaking sweating my rear end off and decided that I wasn't going to finish it today. I'll finish it in the morning when it won't be quite as hot over there.
Can't blame you.
But so we got those out. We got all kinds of we got some new tackle. I got some new tackle in today, but it's not received yet. So more sun lines, some little poppers, and just a few odds and ends we needed for the shop. But got a great stock, great inventory of tackle right now. So come out, see us. A bunch of South Africa special for you guys that like that color. Came in from Zoom, and then what else? Of course, we got all kinds of stuff on the SY side. I mean, we're getting prepped up for college football. Less than 50 days now till college football starts. A lot of new T-shirts coming in. Lots of new stuff coming in on that front. So, I mean, come see us. Farmers Market from 12 to 4 on Saturdays. It's a great time. All kinds of great locally grown food, and so come see us.
Yeah. Well, I know we talk about it a lot, man, but I just want to, again, tip my hat to you with all the amount of work that you put into not only the SY Wilson, but, just your commitment to your customers, driving out to Virginia to, deliver kayaks. Guys, if you're in the market, please go and see David up at SY Wilson. He's going to take care of you. So, but here's the question on the table: is David Best going to be watching iCast and put in some orders?
I am. There's some neat stuff already I've seen. You asked me yesterday what's the big announcement from Hobie. Have you seen it yet?
No. Did they post it?
They sent us the information to start posting. I think can't really post it until tomorrow, I think.
Okay, so no, I haven't.
I might be fixing to step over our border here, but so this is what's going on one of their big announcements. Passports. What's the biggest knock on a passport?
I couldn't tell you.
It's a thermoform. It's that thinner plastic, 2 pieces.
Yep.
Passports for 2023 are going to be rotomolded. So they're going to be a lot tougher material. Got a new look to them. I'm not sold yet. I like the looks of it. You'll see some pictures tomorrow.
I just noticed that they got it up on Facebook. I'm going to pull it up.
Pull it up. So it's a little different look. I want to get my hands on one. I haven't had an opportunity to. The guys at New Canoe had a big build out today. They had two builders build out New Canoes live on during the show today.
Mm-hmm.
So some new stuff coming up there. I mean, There's a few things coming out. I've been looking at a few things. I hadn't had much time today though.
Let's first get our buddy Palmer in here because he's getting anxious over there. But hey, we're gonna introduce Brandon Palmer. He sent us a cool little video. We're gonna post up real quick, guys. It's a little blurry, but you guys get the gist. All right.
There we are.
What's up, fella?
Fellas, what's going on? What's good with you?
Man. Well,
Man, just seeing that was awesome. That little one that was holding up the markings on his face. I couldn't find them. I couldn't find any of the bigs like that. Usually I'll pull at least one of them out like that. I couldn't find one with the unique markings like that on it.
Yeah.
It's a fun place.
Dude, those fish are so awesome, man. We're going to get into your experience, but hey, you probably heard us talking. Welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, we've had you on here once when we were all just doing the roundtable about Lake Fork earlier this year. So it's been a minute. So it's good to catch up with you.
Yeah, for sure. David, looking good, bud.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah.
Staying busy.
He's glowing a little bit over there, man.
Right? I know. I kind of noticed it in his tone a little bit.
Yeah. So you're glowing a little bit.
Whatever.
Yeah, I'm good and sunburnt from standing out in these farmers markets. I'm not getting to go fish with like some other people, so
Yeah.
Touche.
Yeah.
Touche, buddy.
Well, you got some stuff coming up here soon, David. It'll pick up for you, buddy. But hey, so Brandon, you probably heard the news. We're about to show the new Hobie Passport, and just let Hobie tell us a little bit about it. So this looks interesting. Dang, the R series. Roto molded.
R for roto mold.
That's sweet.
So it'd be the step down from the Outback, correct?
Be a step down actually from the Compass.
Yeah.
Oh, so it goes.
I have only forward. It'll be forward only. But it will be roto molded because that's always been my one concern with passports. Although my question, and this is something I haven't seen yet, is I haven't seen the weights and that kind of thing. So because that was one of the positives to the passports was the weight because they were so much lighter than the Compasses and the Outbacks and some of those. So I'm interested to see what the specs are going to be on it. It looks very different. Does it not look a lot different to you guys than what I would have?
It looks lower profiled. It looks like they squatted it. The gunnels of the hull.
Well,
it looks a little lower.
Kind of reminds me of the old school Outbacks.
It does, yeah.
So I'm kind of.
What's the price point?
I don't know yet.
You don't know?
I haven't seen that yet. So I'm still waiting on some details there. So
I know their Lynx is having that same problem. How it gets. Some people around here say they've blown holes in the bottom of them, and some of them say they haven't. So I guess it's not that. There's really no way to. I don't know if it's the same material as the Passport, but
the Lynx is a little bit lighter weight material than the Passport is. I don't. I can see where probably you could poke a hole in it or do some damage to it. But I'm gonna tell you,
yeah.
If you haven't been on one of them yet,
I haven't.
That little sucker is fast as all get out.
They move. They do move.
It's amazing to me. I really like that thing. I really, really do. I'm tempted to take that one to Wisconsin with me.
So they've got it up on Mariner sales at $18.69 retail.
So about the same price.
Yeah. But it's a pretty sweet looking little boat, man. I mean, for somebody wants something just to get in there, get out in the water and have a pedal drive, dude. It's not a bad
Those
setup.
boats are perfect for that. I mean, I sell a lot of those to couples that just are looking for a recreational pedal style boat. Matter of fact, I got a couple coming to pick a couple up this weekend, I think. But they're a great little boat. I mean, they really are. I mean, but all their boats are great boats. That pedal system in the Hobie is just I love it. I mean, it is what it is. But that boat reminds me a lot of the old Outback in some ways.
Yeah, like you're talking about, Brandon, the gunnels. It looks like it's more sharp. It comes up.
Yeah,
it has more curvature to it.
Right. It definitely it's a slick looking boat. I like it.
It looks like that it's kind of like the with the PA. That really helps out with that secondary security,
right.
Or stability.
Right.
But yeah, so that'd be cool, Dave, when you get those in stock.
Yeah, it'll probably be it's going to be 23 before we'll have them. But
well, Palmer, let's dive into some St. Clair, man. You're fortunate to live quite a bit closer than us to that body of water.
4 hours.
4 hours. Yeah.
I'm thinking about going back this weekend.
Man,
I'm this close, man. My wife's daughter going up to Indianapolis for a state swim meet, I do believe, and I'm like, a free weekend. They're doing a KFL up there right now, I think. A KFL event.
Are they?
I think so. That's what I do. I know there's something going on this weekend. I could have swore I heard it was KFL.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
So KFL, that's going to be a topic of conversation here in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Weird. Just kind of odd how it all came about, but we're going to have some guys on from the north to talk about KFL and learn us a little bit about that. So, but man, so you were fishing the KBF event this past weekend, right?
Yeah. To break it down, it's like I only had a day up there, but I mean, it's like you don't really need a whole lot of time to get on them. It's 16 feet. Because after they settle back, there's not many more places for them to go around there other than tall weeds, and there's a little bit of tall, like 1.5 foot weeds on the bottom. And I mean, the big ones just cruise. So I mean, if you can find a good area with some tall vegetation, we're talking like 4 feet probably. There'll just be big random areas of it, and you just back off of it and throw in there. It's pretty fun, man, and it's all day long. It really is. It's a magical place. Sniped them on that drop shot, man.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. Yeah.
So, man, I wondered, the average depth out there, I know it's pretty shallow lake.
10 foot.
10 foot average?
I would say, yeah. 10 to 12.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So on your Garmin maps, does it have pretty accurate contours on that lake?
Yeah.
I know a lot. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. I was just gonna say I was taking the quick contours when I got there, just to make sure, because I knew, 14 to 16 feet is where I wanted it. Is where you need to be up there right now. Water temperature, well above 72, 73. So just looking for big rocks and big tall weeds at 16 feet. Right. Yeah, you guys have that magical lake, that river system down there though, that they're always pulling that current, so it can just like, you guys have that advantage throughout the year. We around here, Southwest Ohio, it's hot lakes. Thermocline sets in at about May. I feel
really?
like. It doesn't set in that early. It just gets hot and boring, man. There's no moving water here. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's nice to go up to St. Clair.
You got that river that runs straight through Cincinnati, don't you?
Yeah. The LMR, the Little Miami, and the Great Miami.
Okay. What's the fishing like in those?
GMR is stacked. I think it's underrated in the whole eastern part of the United States.
Yeah.
The food source was messed up for a while, but they got it tuned in pretty good now.
Okay.
It's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So day one, you get out there, and did you fish both the regular series as well as the pro series?
No, I just did the pro. The pro was a complimentary entry for me, so I took advantage of it and just said, well, that's probably the only one that I would want to fish would be St. Clair, so let's bounce. So I went ahead and sent it in, and it's pretty. There was only 30 some people that fished that trail.
Wow, both the trail series and pro series, or wow,
pro series was even lower, and to be on St. Clair, I don't know. You figured it'd pull a lot more than that.
Man, that's crazy, dude. Because 3-4 years ago, you had, I can't remember. I don't think it was St. Clair, but you had pros. Dave Lefebvre was fishing some of the KBF stuff. A lot of
just
people
last year there was close to 100 there last year.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a testament to how shaky things are, man.
Well, it could be to David in the Susquehanna this weekend, or
not this weekend. It's the next one.
Next weekend.
The next one. Yeah.
Okay, so that's typical, because later in the year, especially during the summer, a lot of people are doing vacations with the family, or they're burnt out on fishing, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to travel. Gas is what it is. I'm sure that's got a lot to do with it.
Oh yeah.
So, 30 given the circumstances, it's not terrible, but I guess in the sport, especially seeing the Hobies, even some of the Bassmasters and the Bass Nations, doing as well as they are, it's kind of becoming that new norm almost to expect at least 80 to show up at most tournaments,
Right.
But,
I agree.
Well, you mentioned the rock. I've heard, I've heard guys, they look for the rock piles and stuff. The grass that you're mentioning, that's growing out there, in that 10-foot range, or is that mostly bank grass?
It's everywhere. It's it looks like American. No, it's curly leaf is what they call it. It's like a brownish colored. It's got long leaves on it, but they're real narrow, and they just move. Kind of looks like seaweed is what people call it, honestly. And then there's carrot on the bottom with some type of like eelgrass mixed in with it. And if you can find the combination of all three of them, that's where I sat day one. I was like, I don't need to go anywhere else. This is it. Because you could literally see the fish swimming around. So I saw what was what was there, and I was like, I'm not leaving. It was hot, man, and hooked the same fish 3 times under my boat.
Wow.
3 times, and then I was like, you know what, get out of here. And it was actually a squirrel, but it was a nice fish. 3 times, man. That Berkeley flat-sided minnow.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah,
they couldn't leave it alone.
It gets a lot of noise up there.
Oh.
Up there, all the smallmouth lakes and the rivers and stuff. So, how far out how far out are you going from the ramp to find what you're looking for?
It's about 2 miles.
Really? Okay.
I'm laughing because that's where I about sank my Hobie. was all the way out, man.
Golly.
This one hurts.
Yeah, and you may not even want to mention this brain fart on live, but if you want to, share with us how that happened.
I had a long drive home, man. It was a long drive home. I was like, damn, do I even say anything? No, I just had a bad day too. I was like, shit. But no, I come to terms with it. After day one, you get off that water, and I don't know if you guys probably have never been on Erie, but it's Lake Erie's. It's not as bad as Lake Erie. It's, there's well over 1.5 foot, damn near 2 foot rollers out there. So, I mean, it beat me up all day and mentally just took me out of it. As soon as I get off the water, I expect the water to be in the, below the seat of the Hobie. So I'm just draining it all out, pull the plugs, go around, empty. The front hatch was almost 2/3 the way full. That's a lot of water coming over the front. Just the hatch. So you're like, then you start submarining through all these. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so went on about my business, pulled the Hobie, strapped it in, got back. Day 2. Standing there talking, had plenty of time to do it. Get all the way out to my area, which took about 45 minutes, probably because the east wind was blowing the caps into me. So my spot was directly east. So I had to go through it all. Mm-hmm. And when I got out there, I was like, man, my Hobie feels like one of those big old potatoes in a pot, man. I'm just like, vroom. I'm like, oh, dude. I just look back and I move 2 of my rods and I throw them down. And I get back there, and I mean, it sounded like a souped up Chevrolet Chevelle. The back of the Hobie's just drinking, and it was already level with the water. And you got
that motor back there too.
Yeah, I got all the electrical underneath where it's all hooked up. I mean, it's all moisture resistant connections. But I made the call I was like, I can sit out here. And the rollers were getting, it was pretty bad. I can make the call to sit out here and see how bad it gets. And the floorboard of my Hobie was submerged. Let's keep it.
No kidding.
above the drive was where the rod holders. The rod holders were holding water too. So I was damn near sitting like that.
Oh my God.
I was like, man. Then it becomes a safety issue. I'm like, okay, it's fishing, for one. For two, that's not worth dying over. And so I turned around and went all the way back in. Lost about a little over 2 hours, 2.5 hours of fishing. And when I got back out to my area, it started thunderstorming.
My gosh.
That was my day, too. I saw the bass boats flying in because it wasn't supposed to rain. They said 10 to 15% chance. Well, that turned into about 1 inch. And I could just feel the cold air, I turned around and saw the white caps. I'm like, I'm not staying out here.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I didn't, because that'd have been sketchy. So, yeah, that was my day, too. Boat plugs, people. Boat plugs. Damn, man. Just when you think you've got it all figured out.
Yeah. The simplest thing, the simplest thing, Brandon.
I don't ever check that stuff. And I took myself out of the equation of doing really good. I was able to still catch 3 fish, but I knew what was there.
See, it's stories like that why I'm overly paranoid about that sometimes, and I never, undo my plugs except for a Lake Fork. But I haven't unscrewed them since then. But occasionally, I just flip my butt around when I get in the water. I'm like, oh crap, my plugs. Just double check them. But
yeah, that's one thing you never check in the mornings, man. I mean, who checks their boat plugs? So it's like, it sucks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, shoot, at least you're able to make it back the way you're describing it. I mean, it seemed like you were close to,
Oh, and I couldn't turn
sending
left.
It.
My rudder cables, the tension cables, somehow got. I don't know what happened to them. It wouldn't let my rudder turn me left. So I was out there going in circles right. I didn't want to go right. I wanted to go left.
Just do donuts all the way back to the right.
Yeah, so I was stuck going do. Look at the idiot out there on the Hobie. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
Somebody's gonna want to go check on that guy. We're not sure he's okay.
Yeah. Throw him his helmet and parked his big wheel up on the Brant. Jeez, man. So the drive could turn me, but I mean, once I got going, I wanted to turn. It was a disaster.
Yeah.
I fixed it though. I got it figured out.
Yeah, well, you're still sitting here, man. So, and you caught some fish. We just saw in the video. You got some good ones. But I want to ask you, man. I've never been there, so I'm asking out of just not knowing how far out can you see those fish. Like, I mean, everybody says you can see them, but okay, if you're in 10 foot, how well and how far out can you see those smallmouth run around?
I was casting. I mean, it was cloudy, overcast, but in pre-fish, I saw. I mean, you've got at least 20, 25 feet out in front of you. And then, because some of the big darker black ones, like that 20 that I caught, you can really, those stand out. But I mean, the lighter, the brownish color ones, nah. That they're down there, but you either spook them or they'll get right up under your kayak. I caught 3 of my fish, 3 underneath my kayak, 2 17s and an 18. It's something about when you get over their safe place, their weeds, they like the shade of that Hobie or that boat in general. And dude, they'll get right under you. So I was like, whatever, they're under my. It's not illegal. And I would just drop my drop shot down there, and they would just fire on it.
Will they stay on the bottom, or they kind of suspend?
No, they'll come up and suspend. They'll be like
kind of like what they do on
4
a dock,
feet off the bottom, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
4 feet off the bottom. It's something.
That's wild.
It's fun.
David, have you been up there before?
No.
Okay.
That's one of those places. It's on my bucket list of places to go. I just ain't made it up that way.
I mean, up at the St. Lawrence, they're just the size that they're catching up there are in St. Clair. It's
Oh yeah.
They're in there. You guys should come up in May though. Mid to end of May when they're still spawning. It's pretty electric. That's the time to go for sure.
Yep. Yeah, it needs to be. It needs to make 2023 list of things to do.
Yeah.
So
I think Hobie should have something there.
They should, man.
That'd be fun.
Have they yet? I don't think they have.
I don't think so, and I can't believe they haven't. There must be something.
I think they had one. I think they had a satellite event there back when they were doing those.
Oh, really?
I think because those were designed to be more spread around the country and stuff. Obviously it's, online tournaments, but so that lake does freeze. I mean, it freezes over right in the winter.
I don't know. I'm sure it does. I have no idea. I mean, I went up to the first day I got there. I went to where Huron. It's called the St. Clair River, where Huron and basically St. Clair is the pool between Huron and Erie. And if you go north of the north end of the St. Clair Lake, it's the river that comes in. The water was 10 degrees cooler up there. And so I was thinking hopefully the spawn would have been later in a different wave. Man, it's like Caribbean clear water up there. It's like crazy. And the swans are mean as piss. You don't want that smoke up there, man.
Hey, we know about some
playing.
Yeah, it's like them pelicans down here, man. You better stay away from them.
Dude, I mean, I wasn't even trying for your babies. I done had one alligator episode this year. I ain't messing with those swans. Damn.
Yeah.
I just want to fish, but no, it's beautiful. Yeah. It's a good place. Yeah.
So out of the 30th, you ended up 10th, correct?
That's correct.
30.
I don't know how many exactly people were in that one. In the pro, the trail, and no. Yeah, there's 2 trails and 1 pro event, but I don't know how that whole payoff scale is going to work next year, because if you can't get people to fish your events, how are you going to pay like $150,000 first place prize, because you don't even have the sponsorship and all that? I don't know.
I don't know, David. You might could tune in on that one.
I mean, unless he's got a lot of sponsorship money from coming from somewhere, it just doesn't work mathematically.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see what changes they make or what they do.
All right.
They're going to have to do something in order to pay that kind of money.
Yeah. And that's what I value about Hobie is that, you don't really see that guaranteed payout prize until, a little bit after the season starts. It seems like at least, because they're not going to sit there and promise you a bunch of stuff unless they have it. It seems like, I'm not dogging it. That's not the point of this episode.
Right.
But,
I get it.
back with some of the stuff with KBF is like, hey, it's going to be this amount of money. And then, and then nobody knows if it's actually going to happen or not, But, I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due. The man pulled through on the 2 big national championships that he paid out $100,000 and what was it, $75,000 first place prize.
Right.
He pulled through on those. So, yeah. But
whatever.
Yeah. So you almost sank your boat. You caught some fish. On both days, what other than the Berkeley flat-sided minnow, whatever, walk us through a little bit of what what you're looking for, kind of any adjustments you got to make out there, or is it just shooting fish in a bucket? I mean, is it as
Figuring
easy
as
everybody makes it
out? The way they face doesn't take long, because I mean, if you throw it, and if if you're trying to lead the fish into it, or you're trying to just move a little bit and throw another way, all you got to do is make 2 casts, and they'll eat it. So you basically just waypoint where the tallest grass is. The tallest weeds is where those big ones are sitting. I mean, I saw the most activity, like I said, at like 14 to 16 feet, 17 feet. I caught them too. So I mean, it's that threshold right there is, and honestly, that's about it. I mean, once you set a bunch of waypoints and you get a good pattern like area, that's what I decided to just park, because I was like, I can make so many casts and move very little and sit here and pick them off. And, the first day was, proof of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't that tough to find them, man. It's a pretty easy place.
The rock piles and stuff like that a lot of people talk about, are we talking big boulders? Are we talking more, chunk rock style, or,
chunk rock?
Chunk
big,
rock.
Just okay. Big chunk boulder looking. You won't find piles of it. I'm sure there are piles, but I mean, I've never found any. But there's I don't know, the way that it's gutted out. I mean, the creek channel that runs through is like, I think it's around 24 feet, and closer to the channel, I feel every year that I've gone there. This is only my 3rd year there, so every time I try to to explore a little bit farther, the more you get towards the creek bed is the more stone the rock that I found. So
makes sense.
I don't know if anything holds to it, but they would seem legit,
Yeah. And you said the creek channel is about 24 feet in depth?
Or the river channel. Yeah, it gets down around 20. What I saw was 26. So
gotcha.
Yeah. And I think I saw a sturgeon. Swear there's sturgeons in there, and I saw
yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
The shadow, like I was out there, I was probably at least 18 feet, and I saw this giant shadow, and I'm like, now what was that? There's no boat, there's no clouds.
Man had some innocent alligator flashbacks.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Hard to start.
You start pedaling the Hobie, man.
Oh, wait, I'm up north.
Oh, yeah. They don't exist up here. But no, it was, I got the little hot flash a little bit. I'm
like, Drew, real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Lordy.
I learned my lesson, David.
Yeah.
I learned my lesson.
Man, I was telling somebody not too long ago, somebody was asking me, I was telling somebody at work about the kayak fishing and whatnot. And I was telling them, how occasionally we find ourselves in alligator territory, and their mouths were just dropping. Like, what do you do? I'm trying to explain to them, like, you take your little pedal drive and you pump it as fast as you can and get out of there. But they're like, oh, are you serious? It's funny. I love telling people about the sport, like just what you can do and the stuff you come into contact with and whatnot. Just people don't believe it.
It's a battle. It is a battle.
Yeah.
Like just like those swans I was telling you about. You don't want nothing to do with those things, dude. You do not.
Attack of the swans.
They'll chase jet skis, little John boats. They're done. Those guys up in St. Clair, like on the north end where I was telling you it was like Gin Clear water. They sit back in these tall ass reeds and you can't see them. And I mean, if these guys go by them, they're like trying to take their hats off their heads and just like, it's a battle. I know, man. So, but it's a good place. You should visit it. It's definitely fun.
Yeah. I might have to Spray on
You
some
guys will come up here
swan
next year, man.
deflector.
Yeah, we won't go up there. I only saw them up there. Not nice. They're not nice.
Oh.
But that's
Yeah.
about it. I mean, as far as those smallies up there, yeah. I mean, I threw a couple jerk baits and some DT10s, ripping those. I mean, I didn't have any luck with anything moving. I did catch one on a bladed jig. That was the only moving bait fish that I caught up there the whole time I was there.
Yeah. Speaking of a bladed jig, now I've got to say I'm kind of impressed with Berkeley's new bladed jig design. Have you guys seen it?
Oh, I heard about it.
Yeah.
Someone was talking about it.
David, have you seen it?
Yeah, it looks neat.
It does look neat. And I mean, and it's like, wow, they came up with another way that's similar to, what Z-Man did with the jackhammer with the blade hitting the head.
Right.
They got it, bouncing back and forth, making that knocking sound. It's probably going to be, you guys tell me what you think, probably going to be a little bit deeper of a thud, type sound than high pitch, pinging like you probably get with the blades.
Yeah.
But will it reignite the chatterbait movement and start catching giants all over the place again? That is yet to be seen. But I gotta say,
if it moves back and forth, but the blade is still doing the same.
Yeah, it seems to be. So I guess that would probably give it, when it's rotating back and forth like that, but then also side to side, that's going to give it that hunt. Probably some crazy hunting action.
That erratic looking shape to it.
Like if you burn a jackhammer, like it just goes all over the place, real side to side. I would think maybe something along those lines, but I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, it'd be cool to kind of get my hands on one and see what it's like. Got Mark Davis in the house. What's going on, fella? So St. Clair. Any other northern tournaments? Any of those smallmouth fisheries that you got coming up?
No, I mean KBF. St. Clair is definitely one I always try for, no matter what, even if it's just fun fishing. But other than that, that's about it, man. Up this way for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it'll be fun to see what the guys do on the Susky. That's always a big turnout, really enjoyable one to follow. If you guys don't, you can get on Tourney X and follow that on the Hobie BOS tab. But so I think Jody Queen has reigned champion there the past 2 years. So we'll see if somebody can come in and take his crown. He seems to have it.
I wonder if he's one in the same area. I wonder if anyone's ever asked him that.
Yeah, he's pretty. He kind of keeps his areas, and obviously he a lot of times puts out there what he does, but where he does it, he seems to kind of keep that stuff under his hat.
Right, smart.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see. I mean, that's such a expansive body of water, man. I haven't even began to look at it and to see even where boat ramps and stuff like that are.
That list either.
The
wait list. I think David's at third, and he's been at third for a long time.
Yeah, it hadn't moved since. Now I emailed AJ late last week, told him to go ahead and take me off, but he hadn't done it yet. That's the weekend of our Tennessee free sales tax or no sales tax weekend here, so.
You'd be busy.
I thought it was going to be the weekend prior. I had my dates wrong, and there's just absolutely no way. It's our 6th largest weekend of the year, so I'll be here working.
Yeah.
As usual.
Yeah.
I think for me, like one of the reasons I haven't, minus the drive, I just don't know if I would feel comfortable going out there in the pro angler. I feel like you'd probably have to be pulling the drive out pretty constant, but I have no idea.
Yeah,
I've never been there, but I hear they crashed. Some people crashed a few drives. I guess the water's lower than usual, and I guess those boulders are more of an issue now. So we'll see how much rain and see if it improves.
Yeah, but it's a beautiful looking river. I mean, the pictures and everything that come out, the videos, man, it looks really juicy. It's got a lot of grass and stuff like that in it too. So I've seen some of the videos, guys, catch them on the grass lines and whatnot, throwing spinner baits, flukes, that kind of stuff.
Right.
So we gotta make it up there one day or 1 year.
Yeah.
But well, man, congratulations on pretty good turnout, a pretty good finish. Even though you guys didn't have a lot of people show up for it, it's still pretty good. What does that do for you and points? Are you working towards anything in the KBF series as far as, or have you qualified for the national championship yet?
Yeah, I wasn't planning on any of it, but you start throwing real money out there, and it's like, well, the whole Laurel River Lake thing. I think that one got me in because that was a third place. How their point system's laid out, I have no idea, because I just found out in the clause, like, I don't know if anyone knows this or not, but when you launch your kayak and you check in and everything, if you take a picture of the blank board and submit it, it doubles your AOI points. I didn't know that. I was reading and just stumbled across it, and I'm like, hold up. Yeah.
What?
So I was like, okay. I was like,
so you lose points, even if you win a tournament, you lose points if you don't.
You have a chance of doubling. Yeah, you have a chance of doubling your AOI points if you take a picture of a blank board with the identifier in it and submit it.
What does that even mean?
I don't know, but my ass did it. Whatever it means, I don't know.
Send me a picture of your.
Yeah.
How does that fare, man? That's got to cause all kinds of problems, I'm sure, and confusion. I mean, I've never heard of anything like that before.
Because I didn't do it the first time.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
So on a points-based system, if you get 100 points for winning a tournament, you would get 200 points.
Yeah.
So if somebody
it said,
yeah, that's crazy.
I'm not sure.
I don't understand.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the only point that I could see behind it is for them to they can use that some way to ensure that you're not cheating. Okay, we got a blank picture of his board with his identifier, before he ever submits a fish. I don't really know what that would do, but maybe they've figured out some kind of way to add that security measure, so it's, I guess like an incentive, like, hey, extra points for ensuring you're not cheating or something. I don't know.
But if you think about it, like someone that didn't do that I'm sure, people that know, but if you didn't do that and like you could have been doing that, and let's say you missed it by, I don't know, something stupid like 50 points. Had you been doing it, you would have won by 50. So it's like, I don't understand it. But I did it. So we'll see if it actually worked. I haven't even checked.
Yeah, so you just sent me this. How can a score of 0 double your AOY points? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a paragraph here. I'm not going to read it, but you guys can go and check that out if you want to. Kayak bass fishing. I would probably just do in the search registration / /participation and probably take you right to it. But that's crazy, man. You learn something every day. So
right. Like it's stuff like that that's just, I don't want to say it's shady, but it's like no one knows that. It's like the fine print stuff that no one reads on the bottom of a peanut butter jar. What? I guess
and I guess to lay some groundwork to it. I mean, Chad, you gotta give him credit where it's due. I mean, the guy's been kind of a pioneer of the sport.
Oh,
and
100%.
And he's kind of been the guy that's gone through a lot of the learning curves of how people are cheating and stuff. So if he through all that, I'm sure him and some of his associates got together and came up with some kind of way, and maybe that's it.
I guess that's his board inspection. Verification. Maybe that's it.
Yep.
But you can do it.
Sounds about right.
You can do a 0.01, or you can do a 1 inch and then get more points or something. It's in that little fine print paragraph I sent you. You take 2 pictures. One if it's 0.00 and 0.01 0.01, 1 inch. There's 2 different sets of points there.
Okay.
I don't know.
What's up, Clint Cropper? Clinton says KBF has some other oddities in May. They call it mayhem. Man, if you could elaborate in the comments, like to mention that. That's interesting. Do you know anything about that, Brandon?
No.
Mayhem.
No, I've never heard of it. Man, the rule book is like giant.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Cheesecake Factory menu. It's overwhelming. Just stare at it. It really is. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. You want original with strawberry with blueberry, chocolate and blueberry?
Just give me the damn stuff, man. Yeah, it's totally like that. So it'd be interesting to see what all. I don't know.
I'm a man of simplicity. Like I will get turned off on something if it's too overwhelming, too many fine details, fine print, and all that kind of stuff. Like, man, lay it to me, plain and simple. You know, what's the rules?
Right.
Expanded. So he said expanded North Carolina qualifications. I don't know what that means.
And everyone bases all their rules off of, well, other than Hobie, bases their rules off of, it always says, KBF rules. And it's like, well, how far do you go with that?
Right. I mean, well, how many different ways can you, make up rules for, catch, photo, release tournaments? I mean, you got to put measurements in place to eliminate cheating.
We're cheating. Don't cheat, guys. Don't cut up.
If you take a picture with your right hand up like this, and your finger pointing towards the sun, you'll get 3 points.
All right, let me ask you guys this. So I did get one of my fish DQ'd up there, but I obviously took another picture of it. My index finger was kind of sideways. And I just had my hand on the fish, but it wasn't on the tail. It was before the tail starts, and he DQ'd it. I mean, my hand was sideways, but you can see identifier. The mouth was against the fence, and I was like, "How's come in some tournaments you can grab that tail like, I've seen a lot of people do it and like
pinch
manipulate it and just pinch it."
Yeah.
When are you and when are you not allowed to do that? Because I never do it because I'm always like, now see, the first time my index finger even moves sideways, it gets,
Yeah.
So I think there's a little bit of gray area on that because.
So does KBF not allow you to pinch the tail?
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, they don't even want your index finger near the tail. So I don't think they do. I can't speak for them, but.
Yeah. So I know Bassmaster. The Bassmaster Opens on the kayak side, they don't allow you to pinch a tail, and the tail has to be laying flat. I mean, it can't look like it was pinched. It has to be like spread out as much as possible. I mean, it just has to be laying. It has to be laying in a natural state. And but our clubs up here, Hobie and the Bass Nations. Now I don't know if it can change per state in the Bass Nations, but in Tennessee you can pinch a tail all day long, and Hobie you can pinch it all day long. But I mean, I'll tell you, from my experience, sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't, and I think with spotted bass particularly, it doesn't really help because a lot of times their tails on the points, like, they curve out. They have a lot more, curvature on the top and the bottom of the tail, and it comes to a point more than largemouth do. Smallmouth kind of same way.
That's
so
why
sometimes when you pinch it, it'll actually reduce your length. But expanded national championship qualifications. That's what Clint said. My bad. Okay, so I'm saying, so I'm guessing it's some kind of event that called Mayhem that can give you another opportunity for qualifying.
Right.
Yeah. As if 800 qualifiers isn't enough.
It's a small school.
Yeah. But so Susquehanna, so on the Hobie side, Susquehanna, and then they got the Wolf and Fox River, and then Dardanelle. Palmer, are you doing Dardanelle?
I want to.
You need to.
I'll be back, and I know you guys love that place. You both speak highly of it, and I mean, I would definitely like to go out there. It sounds like it'd be fun. I'm gonna try to.
I wouldn't say that I speak highly of it. It's just kind of like that itch you just got to scratch. You know, well, it's 4 hours. It's 4 hours away.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta go. But it can be good. You know, it can be for sure. David's got a lot more experience on Dardanelle.
I mean, it could be a really, really fun little lake. It can be tough depending on weather, depending on water levels. I mean, you know, you never really know what you're going to get, and that's kind of the thing. It could be. I've seen times when it was pretty dang easy, and I've seen times when it's pretty dang hard. And I mean, it just depends on what kind of weather we get between now and then, and what the water levels look like between now and then.
David, you'd be so proud of me, man. We had a local derby here. I don't even like saying derby. We had a local tournament here a couple weeks ago, and I could not get these. Oh, it was the same one I sent you guys that muskie picture of, or the muskie video. Yeah. Did you see that? I couldn't get these fish to fire up on a little rock, kind of like wasn't really it was like a slope, okay? And I couldn't get these fish to fire up, and I burned spinner baits through there, and they just started beating it up. I'm like, no, what would David do with a spinner bait? That's what I was thinking. I was like, man, and I just burned that sumbitch through there, and they caught him. Like, hey,
sometimes that's what it takes.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was a fun bite.
Look back and bait to chase
David would be so proud.
Had a tear come down my eye.
Like, man,
my boy.
These lakes around here are tough, man. There's so much pressure that it can get pretty sketchy. So you take everything you can get. They hadn't seen a crazy sumbitch burn a spinnerbait down through there before. They're like, all right, I'll eat that. He's throwing everything else he's got.
Screaming.
Yeah.
So, Mark, the Dardanelle is September 17th and 18th. Dates for the Dardanelle event. And they don't even have there's TOC right there.
That's on there.
Yeah. Well, it's we need to get up there, man. We need, next year. I need to plan on it, David. We gotta go. We gotta go catch redfish in Venice. Now we gotta go to St. Clair.
Dude, I'll be down in Rockport, Texas in November catching redfish. It's supposed to be when the big females come back up in there and want to spawn. Start eating. Well, they start eating before they run into the spawn, but.
Yeah,
redfish are definitely mucho. They're fun from a kayak.
Yeah. Well, man, it's always good having you on. We're
thanks for having me, guys.
That hour, yeah, absolutely. Definitely gonna have you on some more. If not as a guest, just come on and help chit chat with us with some other folks.
Sure.
But not a lot going on right now. David, you want to throw some tips out there for these guys, locals wanting to catch some fish right now in the dead of the heat? And what products you got up there at the store you can sell?
I mean, a lot of I'm getting a mixture. A lot of the guys are catching. I've still got a lot of guys catching them on top water early and late, of course. A lot of guys dragging plastics. I mean, that seems to be the main thing we're selling right now. There's a lot of plastics and a lot of top waters. We're selling a lot of. That's really the two main things I got folks throwing, quite honestly. So, I mean, it makes sense to me that you can catch them on some other things right now, but I haven't been, so I really can't talk to it. So, but I have had several guys coming in and buying some big spinner baits specifically for night fishing right now, because that is kind of a thing right this second. I mean, dark colors. Oh, with the lights, dark colors. Everybody's getting ready. Night fishing has been a big deal the last few weeks, and that's kind of been the thing.
Yep. Well, I'll add. Once we progress, thinking about it, the spring and the summer that we've had, the summer really just onset really fast here, a lot quicker, a lot harder than it normally does. These bass a lot of times have these internal tickers too that they kind of behave off of also. But once we kind of really get into August and it's been hot for 2 months, it takes a while for those changes to really affect those deeper levels in the water column. So after 2 months of blazing hot weather, that thermocline's, really set in. Really look for that thermocline to vary when it sets in based on the water clarity and the depth of the lake. So a place like Herb Parsons that is typically, has a good stain to it, it's going to have that thermocline set in a lot faster. And then deeper, clear lakes.
If they have trouble setting a thermocline this year.
Yeah, out there it's just enough water.
Right.
But later in the summer, when that thermocline's really set in, those fish, they start going shallow. So look for that buzzbait bite. Any kind of topwater walking bite, popper, even a wacky rig Senko. Skipping that around up shallow and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get you some bait, get you some bites. But fish still being caught out deep, and just get out there. If you got grass in your lake, definitely spend some time around the grass, especially deeper grass. That was a big player for me in Bay Springs. But anything else, Brandon? Anybody you want to give a shout out to or anything like that before we hop off here?
Man, Hobie for building a good kayak for one, because to be on St. Clair, I wouldn't be in any other type of rig. There's no way. And for me to already have water in my boat, know it, and still question to still be out there says a lot. So when it's empty of water, it's impressive.
Yeah,
it
sure
makes you
got
feel comfortable
your
being
plugs
on the oh yeah. That's another, kids. Don't make the same mistake I did. Put your plugs back in your boat.
Don't smoke cigarettes and put your plugs in your
No.
boat.
You look like a one-arm wallpaper hanger out there. Man, it ain't worth it.
Yeah.
That's a busy guy. So just thanks for having me on, guys. It was good to see you guys.
Absolutely. We'll see you soon.
All right.
At some point when we meet up. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. And we'll catch you next time.